Thank you very much, Vardanian sis. And now I will give word on the word achieve goals of sustainable development, and we will consider a matter of mitigation of a long-standing violent conflicts. And we give floor to the member of Namibian Parliament, Miss Giuseppe, please. And now, Miss Buteka is absent for good reasons, and Miss Vardanian, we thank Mrs. Vardanian, and and if they participate in the groups, and we will like to thank them. But please, dear colleagues, whoever wants to join each group, please go, and we start and resume our work in 1430. And goodbye to everybody, and we'll meet you again. Thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like first of all to thank all the speakers today. Thank you all for your opinions and for your valuable ideas to guarantee the participation of women equally in the decision-making processes and in preserving sustainable peace. In this context, I would like to share with you the proposals of the parliamentary section in UAE regarding the draft resolution, which is the role of parliaments in advancing a two-state solution in Palestine. And this is going to be discussed in the Standing Committee on Peace and Security as follows. First, resolution through adding the sentence supporting building the humanitarian and institutional capacities, whereby the draft resolution would guarantee that parliaments would have the necessary skills to play their legislative and supervisory roles. And this would enhance the international cooperation as well as the political stability. And this would support democracy through empowering parliamentarians to be able to represent the citizens efficiently and proposing legislations that would be much more inclusive. Second, we would like to add the sentence encouraging the participation of women and enhancing gender parity, as well as enhancing the electoral processes in paragraph 11 of the draft resolution, which would contribute to having a more fair political representation and more inclusive representation, which would enhance democracy and which would guarantee laws reflecting the needs of the populations at the gender level. Enhancing the transparency of elections and gender parity would enhance confidence and trust in the political processes, and it would support the political stability, which would contribute to building more sustainable governance systems. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the same type of ideas as the colleague who preceded me, our country is very engaged on this issue, the Palestinian issue. We have various different points to contribute to the resolution. Firstly, we have to say that the Palestinian people have suffered the repercussions of the occupation, these violences. And what is important for us as legislators is that we have to have an important role in finding a solution that is equitable and durable for the Israeli and Palestinian people. Another point that we think is very important is to promote a diplomatic debate which is integral, and the legislative assemblies should play a role in this diplomacy. We have to promote actions to create peace in respect of the UN resolutions, particularly Resolution 242 and 338, which would have two peoples living in security and with borders that are recognized and protected. It is our responsibility to establish the conditions to create exchange between the different actors. Another point is to restore sanctions and dissuasion measures to promote human rights. Parliaments must implement laws that sanction individuals that attack the rights of the Palestinians and carry out illegal actions, the violence and the occupation of the territory. We also should support all international initiatives that encourage Israel and Palestine to have constructive dialogue to create a Palestinian state that is viable. And another point is that we have to have aid mechanisms for the Palestinian people. The Assembly should also encourage international support for Palestinian refugees and to create conditions for the return of the people in security and dignity, and to have a complete peace. We also have to recognize the Palestinian state on an international level. The more countries that recognize, more countries should recognize Palestine as an independent state. We can do this by making sure that all members of the UN recognize the state of Palestine, and this is a strong measure to support the Palestinian people in their self-determination. Furthermore, we have to protect women, boys and girls, the elderly as well, and we can support the humanitarian aid programs for education, for health, and humanitarian aid programs that will allow the protection of women and children who are affected by the Israeli and Palestine conflict. We also must, lastly, we must act against violence through sanctions, and we must promote the rights of women and children in the occupied territories. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you to the President. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. I would like to thank the hosting country for their warm welcome, and I would like to thank the president of the Bureau for organizing the last conference in Mexico, and for organizing this conference, this global conference for women parliamentarians in a country globally every year. As to our subject today, women and children are the first people who are affected in any crises in the world. As parliamentarians, we cannot accept what's happening currently in Gaza. Algeria's position is the same when it comes to all causes in all the countries, especially in Palestine. Regarding the participation of women in peace, it is very important. We form half of the societies in the world. Algeria asked for a ceasefire in Gaza. It has to be adopted